transparent in your application process. That's the reason some of you never get picked for this job, because you are not transparent in your application process. How would you put that you can work under pressure? You are not a very honest person. Personally, remember, your application, your resume is a reflection of who you are and the profile you've been able to build over the years. So if I come on my profile and I'm now putting certain things that are not true, remember, your employer is not a dumb person. They are not dumb people. They are people who also, have some level of skill, knowledge when it comes to application processes. In fact, if you're talking to a HR, you know that person must have seen thousands of candidates just like yourself. So one of the key to averting ghosting is being transparent. It's the same thing like in relationships. So that's why they ghost some of you too in relationships, because you're not honest with what you want there. You are not transparent enough with what you have, what your skills are. So you see many people say that they can speak 5 languages. They go on the job and they can barely speak even 2, So there's so many things. We might want to blame the employers for ghosting us many times, but we also do play a very vital role as to the kind of response that we get from the recruiters or the hiring company. So ghosting is not a bad thing. It just means that the value that you have and the values that the employer seek do not align, or they see someone, or they've seen someone who better fit into the criteria or the value that they're seeking to employ for that role. So the many no's you get just means that you're doing something right. For your application to even get the attention, or for your application to gain the traction or the traffic of even being responded to, obviously means that you have something to offer, but not in that organization.
Yes.
So that's pretty much it.
In case you just tuned in, this is the Workstation right here on Eagles 102.3 FM, the Media Extra Show, and we have been talking. Ghosting is no longer just in relationships. Companies are doing it. Recruiters are doing it, giving applicants the silent treatment. You just call people, they'll come for interview, and you don't get back to them. Nothing. Anyway, there are some reasons companies or recruiters indulge in this thing of ghosting. Now, I think the number one reason could be the fact that there is an overwhelming number of applicants. Sometimes you receive numerous applications, and it's quite challenging, to respond to everyone. And I think that's where they
filter. They have a filtering process.
No, not even that. Like this mass message that they say, broadcast message. Yes, why not do that, so that if you cannot reply everyone individually, it can, just send. Even if you don't address the person by their name, that dear this person, just let the person just get a reply. At least a bolted reply will be better than nothing at all. Another one could be lack of resources, because some smaller companies that may not have the vast resources may not be able to communicate with every applicant, of course, and then insufficient hiring processes is very true as well. And also the fact that sometimes priorities matter. Maybe the company does not prioritize you. That's it. So they just move on with the number of people that they can employ for that role, and then the rest that they cannot employ, they don't see the need to get back to. But somehow this takes a toll on the person or the people that are ghosted, if there is a word like that, because first you are feeling ignored, disrespected, and then you are like, okay, what exactly is wrong with me? The person is just wondering that what exactly is wrong with me, because I feel I'm good for this role, and even if you don't want to hire me, I should get a feedback as to why I was not hired. But somehow leaving me in the deep blue sea is like, I don't know what I'm doing, or I'm just foolish or stupid, I don't know what I'm doing. And then somehow you see that people are frustrated. But somehow another thing is that there is this ghosting thing gives a negative perception of the company. Yes, because when a company becomes notorious for ghosting applicants, a reputation is building up, and then people will contest, it's not that company. I beg. There is a particular company that every day they used to hire.
Yes. And that causes instability in the
every
business.
day they used to hire. And the funny thing is that they will not even get back to you. They won't get back to you. But every day you see that they are advertising a role. They are advertising for this one. They are advertising for that one. And if you apply, it's likely to not get back to you. And the hiring process I learned is actually very tedious. And you would just wish that, okay, if the X was ending today, let it just end, because it can be compared to that whole hiring process. But I think that what I'm just trying to say is that when a company becomes notorious with this whole ghosting thing, there is a reputation, and people begin to talk that this is what is going on, and that way the credibility of the company begins to go down, because what you are doing to applicants will also have a way of impacting your services or whatever it is that you are rendering as that company as well. And another thing could be, yes, trust. There will be trust gap, of course, because people are not going to trust you anymore. That's just the truth. Because if you like advertise from today, even as they are saying there are no jobs, even with the high rate of unemployment, people would rather not work there. They would rather just chop stone than even work in your company. So I think that at the end of the day, just be transparent, let there be a caveat. If you are doing application, I think LinkedIn makes it quite easy, because the number of people that have applied is already shown.
Yes, so you know
that ahead.
You know that you stand the chance of not, yes.
Because if you advertise on LinkedIn that there is a job opening at your company, and you put a caveat that we only want 20 applicants, and once that application hits the 20,
it closes.
Yes. So I think that way, explore some of these applications and explore some of these apps that have been made available. It's the digital era, so most things are made quite easy. So I don't know why companies are still trying to be analog, or basically not even exploring these things that are not even very expensive, because you don't need so much to use LinkedIn. So I don't know why you need to pack so many people to your. Sometimes the annoying thing is that you waste transport. I'm going to give out that instance. We're talking about experiences. So that was how somebody reached out to me. I'm like, okay, this company, they want to hire, they want to do this one and do that one. That was how it was. Even both. Me, if I don't know somewhere, I always want to use both instead of along, so that I will go there comfortably and be on time. That was how I used my module. Entered both. I went to that. I'm advertising. I went to that place. These people, if I hearing this thing, I'm angry, I'm upset. So I went there, they spoke to me, sure, everybody, how many times I was speaking my own, showing everything that was in my phone to prove that, okay, I'm competent, I'm everything. And then the next day they say, I will get back to you in 4 days time. So the guy that even recommended this job for me, I just told him that, okay, this was what they told me. Even the guy did not get back to me. Even the people did not get back to me. This is how many months since that time. Nobody has gotten back to me. Me too, I did not ask anything. But the truth of the matter is that if I'm not a strong person, it's not everybody that you expect them to be strong enough.
But when you are going into the market, this is one thing that you should expect. Because just as you have some things that deter you from going there, the employer also has a lot on their hands. And like you said, the mistake that a lot of employers make is they don't put timelines for their roles, and they don't have a filtering process. Most organized organizations, what they do is they have a filtering process. They say, okay, anybody without masters should not apply for this role. Anybody without this should not apply for this role. So once they see that you don't have it, there's no need to even process with or progress with the process anymore. But anyways, you also have a responsibility to a role to play after you are being ghosted by your employers. What a lot of us forget to do is we don't get back to the employers when they don't get back to us. Remember, there are certain unforeseen contingencies that might be the reason that the employer is not getting back to you. So don't say, oh, the employer is very irresponsible, so I will not get back to the employer too. That also might be part of the recruitment process. If you don't get back to the employer, maybe they'll say, okay, we have collected the applications, we're not going to get back to anybody. Only those who get back to us will be considered for the role. So you now say, oh, the employer did not get back to me, so I will not get back to the employer. And that settles it. So it's not a bad thing. After you think that you are being ghosted by the employer, give at least a 1 to 2 weeks time. Before that 1 to 2 weeks, right, understand the timelines or the caveats that are being given for the job before you get employed. Because these days recruitment processes take about 3 stages. The first stage is open to everybody. The second stage is after the employment letters, the CVs, and the cover letters are being screened. Only a selected few progresses to the next level of the interview, and then from that interview, only the third people progress to a physical interview. Now, after the physical interview, then they decide who they want to pick for the job. So some of those jobs have these timelines. You need to first of all understand how long is it going to be until this employer gets back to me. You can ask questions. Many times when I'm on an employment panel, I'm surprised at the way some people behave because you are afraid of asking questions. I tell us many times.
Most times it's just the other way. The employers asking the question.
Yes, I enjoy interviewing people who ask questions. And I enjoy going to interviews where I'm being asked questions and I'm given the opportunity to ask questions back. Maybe the early or the foundational years of my career, I was very scared going for interviews. Oh, are they going to pick me? Am I going to be all of that? But as I went through the process over time, it boosted my confidence because now I know that it is in my place to tell the employer what I can offer them. It's not just about them asking me what I can offer them. Let me give us an instance. There was a time I was working, but I'm one person that likes to do working between
different
jobs,
things, yeah.
basically. So I wanted to get that job, and the idea for that job is just being like a public relator for the job. And they have a recruiter, and I went to the panel where they were recruiting. Before I went for the interview, that's another mistake again we make. We don't research the organization.
Yeah.
I don't really research the organization, but I found it difficult to point my hand on exactly what this organization is doing. They're just all over the place. The website was not telling me what they were looking for.
Yes.
They just, like I said, it was haphazard. It was just all over the place. So when I got there, the employer was asking questions like, oh, you want to get this job. What are you going to do for us when you get on this job? And I was like, oh, I noticed that your website is not straight to the point. I said, now, what most clients want to do when they get an organization, when they are looking to work with an organization, what they want to do is go to your website or go to your social media pages, and they should be furnished with the necessary information that can help them make the decision whether or not they want to work with you.
Yeah.
But your organization has not provided anything of the sort on your website. I said the first thing I would do is to clean your website and rebuild it and furnish the website with information that can enable us work with you. I now highlighted the dangers of not having the right adequate information on your website. I just told them their problem. Remember, as an employee, you are coming to solve a problem or you are coming to fill a gap. So it's your responsibility to find out the problem and now highlight the ways that you can fill the gap for those people. After I had done that, I actually got the job, but the offer was not good enough.
Okay.
So that was why. So I'm just trying to say that you can negotiate your terms of reference. You can negotiate your terms of work with your employers. So when you go for that interview, let it not be an eye service thing where you are saying, oh sir, any service, they now ask you, how much do you want to be paid for this role? You now say, sir, anything you offer me is good. I'm more about the passion, not about the pay. Go and deceive yourself. Wherever you...
Passion is not going to pay bills.
It's good, honestly. So the thing is, while you are there, it's okay to say, I would like to know the amount of money that is set aside as remuneration for this role. When they now tell you, oh, we want to pay 50,000 for this role, you now say, oh, I'm so sorry. Considering the level of expertise or the level of value I'll be bringing to your company, is it possible for you to renegotiate your stance on this remuneration? They will now ask you, okay, how much do you want us to pay you? Then you can talk. It's not just basically you now take 50,000, you now come to the job and start complaining that 50,000 is not enough for you. Meanwhile, in the process of interview, you didn't state your terms clearly.
Yeah.
So this is why some of you are being ghosted. Again, I'm telling you the truth. So after the interview process, like I said, and you now understand the caveat, what you want to do is wait 1 or 2 weeks, or if they say 5 days, you wait for an extra 2 to 3 days and say, oh, I was told that I was going to be gotten back to by your organization in 5 days. It is approximately 5-6 days or 7 days, and I thought to check back to find out the status of my application. So it might be like, maybe they had a busy schedule or they have technical issues. Send a polite follow-up email, reiterate your interest in the job, and inquire about the status. You can also place a phone call. If there are opportunities for you to place a phone call, you can place a phone call, leave a voicemail, or speak with a representative to let them know, oh, I sent in my application, but I have not gotten responses. Move on. If you are not gotten back to after all of these things you have done, move on. Focus on other job opportunities. In fact, Google makes it super easy. Look for job openings close to me. Or you can say, look for communication job close to me. Look for engineering jobs, vacancies close to me. LinkedIn, all of these platforms, they make it easy for you to be able to access openings for jobs. So let me just read out some, like a mail that you can send. So if a follow-up mail now, if you are being ghosted or you think you are being ghosted by your employer or the organization, you can now say, dear hiring manager. That's the name of the hiring manager that you communicated with. I hope this email finds you well. I'm writing to follow up on my application for, then you fill in your job title, submitted the day you submitted it weeks ago. And I was told I will be gotten back to in 5 days. However, I understand that the company might be overwhelmed with the recruitment process, but I would appreciate if you could please update me on the current status of my application. It's not hard. Communicate. If they tell you they are looking for engineers these days, alongside an engineer, they're looking for a communicator. Because an engineer will not work in isolation. He will work with people. So they are looking for engineers that can communicate with people. So ghosting is not entirely a bad thing, but how you handle it is what makes it a bad or a good thing. Handle it properly. Always reach out to your employers or the organization you sent your application to find out why you are not being called back. Ask for loopholes in your application process so that if they get back to you, it can help you become better and re-strategize for applying for another job, so that the mistakes you made in the last one will not be the same mistakes you will make in the present one. I hope this helps someone out there.
I think basically from what you've said is that it's not just a one-side thing. It takes two to tango. And sometimes when employers or potential employers, when they ghost you, if you make a move, you will definitely get that job. Or maybe the process is still taking on so long. And maybe you too, because you didn't follow back. That's why they didn't get back to you. Or maybe someone that followed through the process was called and given the job. So I think that at the end of the day, it's about taking it, you know what the Bible says, about only the violent take it by force. Anyway, I think this reminds me of the fact that I don't know if you remember this young woman from Abuja here that made a video some weeks ago that went viral, where she was more like dragging GT saying, you people have to call me. I know you guys don't want plus size models. Most times and
I appreciated that video.
Do you know that she actually ran the wrong way?
Of course she will.
For the Lagos Fashion Week, and she was in the front, and somehow she was just trotting the wrong way and everything. But at the end of the day, I think in the world of today, you just have to go for what you want and be very intentional about it. But if you are going for what you want in that way, then you must have something to offer. It's not when you gaslight people to give you the job, and when the opportunity is given to you, then you really don't have anything to show for it. Well, it is what it is. At the end of the day, we all have a role to play, and that is what we are discussing here. The fact that some companies tend to ghost applicants. They receive a lot of applications and do not get back to these people. What could be the reason? You can also join us, be a part of the conversation, send us a message with your experience, and let's hear from you today right here on the workstation on Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. And while you're compiling your message, we will go for a short breather, and when we come back, we'll take your calls and probably continue with the conversation right here on Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja.
Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja, here to stay.
At Attention, all farmers, agripreneurs, and future agricultural champions. Are you ready to take your farming to the next level? Join the Nigerian Agricultural Insurance Corporation as we bring insight, tips, and expert advice on the agripreneur. Tune in to Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja every Wednesday by 11 a.m. and discover how you can safeguard your farm and maximize your field. This is brought to you by the Nigerian Agricultural Insurance Corporation, dependable partners in time of loss.
Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja, here to stay.
You are about to experience Egasm. On the Eagles 102.3 FM.
Alrighty, it's about 19 minutes until the top of the hour, 1 o'clock, right here on Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja, and it's still the Media Extra Show. I am Cassandra.
And I am Martha. And we have been talking workstation and how to deal with ghosting employers, and ghost. You see, they are not just ghosting ghost employers, they are also ghost employees. These people come, beg to be given a job. You give them the job, then they come and you are looking for them. You never see them at work. These are people. You not be looking, you applied for this job. You say you wanted to do this job and you never got back to us as to whether or not you want to do the job. So it's not just employers, even the people looking for applicants as well. Some applicants can be very, very misguided and very mischievous rather, I would say, because how do you coerce an employer? Some of you literally force these people to employ you to get this job, and when you have gotten the job, you no longer come to do the job, or you now underperform. Let's see who we have here.
Hello,
good afternoon, Mata and Kasim.
Hi,
Uche.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you. How are you today?
I'm very well.
All right, let's hear from you.
You see, most times, why they don't get back to these people, you find out that internal recruitment has already been done, even before they post these job vacancies online. And most times, one is being done like that. They have already gotten what they want. So what are they going to tell the people who applied for the job? The next day, the cleaner will just pack all the application and everything. Sometimes you even go, you're surprised, you go to newsstand or where they dump bills. You're surprised to see people passports glittered all over. You begin to wonder why, how. All of these things. It's not only by the employers also. What about the government? Even in the government sector, it also happened. You apply, they will post job vacancy and you apply. Nobody will tell you anything. You don't even know the day they will get back. If you get a message, you say, we'll call you. You will hear from us. That's all you get. That's all you get. Before you know, you just see new faces at the department or whatever. People has been employed and nothing was said to them. Even in the government, it happened now. So it's not new to us. Although it's not the right thing to do, but it's just the system. It's systematic. It's the country we find ourselves.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Uche. Thank you for sharing your thoughts on this. Yes, it happens a lot. In fact, all of those Akara women, there was a time it was 18. You'd see them using people's CVs to sell their Akaras.
The
Suya guys doing the same thing as well. Let's take this one. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, my one and only beautiful sister.
Hundu, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, Martha.
I've missed hearing your voice. It's good to have you.
Martha has been very busy, that's why. Well done.
Oh, it's good to have you join us. Talk to us.
Martha, you see, it's a beautiful topic. It affects all of us. Especially we that work on site. I want to quickly say one thing. In most cases, before you see announcement that there are job vacancies, already they know who and who is going to beat them up. And in most cases, they have some organizations that people take money like 5,000 to go and register. So those guys, those agents, they will go and see those vacancies, but they will just do all this to fulfill all righteousness.
Yeah.
And I must tell you, for some of us that work on site, you have people calling you to come and submit quotation. They already know who they want to give.
Okay.
But the most painful aspect of it is that there are some places, in Abuja today that before you go, you must carry through. And you waste your time and your money, you go there to go and submit the quotation. They already know that they're not going to give you. But they don't.
I think this is a very familiar one. I think one time I also fell in the trap of these people. They came, it's a job. You guys are gonna be doing this, that, and I'm like, anything that has to do with public relations, just count me there. I want to do it, only for us to be clustered somewhere for marketing, multi-level marketing. If you bring this person, you're going to be getting like, what is your problem?
Bring this person.
And these are the hazards, and it's probably because we don't have laws that protect the labor force, stringent laws that protect the labor force. That's why, you can see some of these things happen. If it becomes a law that if you open for an application, put a caveat so that people know if they are fit for the job or not. Filter them and get back to the people that you need to get back to. If it becomes a thing, I think we'd see better improvement in people doing what they ought to do, especially in the workforce. But again, remember, we have tried to tell us that if you are not called back for a job, it's not a death sentence. It just means that you need to do something better, or you need to expand your knowledge. You see, these very short courses you see people do online, it gives them an upper hand over some people. Imagine that I'm looking for a communicator and I see someone who has about 3 certifications when it comes to that, and they actually know how to do the job alongside these certifications. The person becomes an obvious choice for these organizations. So that's why it's important for the organizations to get back to the employees, and it's also to the applicant, I beg your pardon, and it's also important for the applicant to go through their process again. So if you apply for this job and you have not been given the role, or you have not been gotten back to, take time to go through your application again. Many times you see that there are errors in your application, or the application does not tailor, or is not suitable for the job role. Because many times when they say write cover letters, a lot of us will just write one cover letter, and that cover letter becomes what we use for all other organizations. We're forgetting that every cover letter is tailor-made to suit the organization that you're applying to work for. Let's take this call and see who we have here. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, Martha. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Welcome, and thanks for joining us on the show.
How are you doing?
Very well, thank you. How about you?
How's your weekend?
Very
Thank you.
Very well.
This is Daniel.
Daniel. Oh, Daniel. Good to have you from Anagada.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. How's the Monday treating you so far?
I just called to check on you and to say hi to you.
Oh, that's nice of you. Thank you so much, Daniel. I really appreciate this.
Thank you. Please go take care of yourself. I will just be patient with you. I'm coming for you.
Hey, you say I'm coming for you. All right. Thank you so much, Daniel. I'm waiting.
Don't worry. I know what I'm doing. But please just take care of you.
My fingers are crossed. Definitely will. Thank you so much. All right. Enjoy the rest of your day. All right, people, let's keep it coming through. If you have contributions you want to make as regards this conversation about ghosting by employers or employees or whichever, please do well to reach out to us on 090-7353-0044 or 090-87668888. Remember, we have a WhatsApp portal number, and you can send us messages on that on 090-9705-44 and 50. If it's not because you like gossip, Funsho and Abel, why did you zoom in on my face? I can see it here very clearly. Because Daniel called. Anyways, I caught you guys snooping around. But yes, guys, let's keep the conversation coming through. It's a very, very important one. And it says a lot about the organization, and it says a lot about the applicants as well. And these are conversations we need to have in the workplace to ensure that the integrity and the confidence of the esteem of applicants are maintained while they try to apply for these jobs. Unfortunately, it can be very discouraging, trust me.
Of course.
But I think we should give you a bonus tip. If if you keep getting this, maybe you should prepare your mind to get this, unfortunately. So I know someone who is an accountant and is looking to be chartered, and this person is already going through the process, have passed a couple of papers for that organization, but they need a job. They don't have a job. So what they went about doing was they looked for firms, credible firms that they are willing to work for. They did not just go straight out putting applications, I want to work for this organization and what have you. They put their qualifications, they put what they're doing, achievements on the job, and they now said, I'm looking at interning with your organization. Imagine sending this to 50 organizations. One person must get back to you.
Of course.
And I'm telling you, the person is doing a very good job right now. The person has a good job that they're doing right now from that process. Just look at it as, I'm trying my luck. I'm putting my eggs in different baskets. It's either I get it there or I don't get it. So don't look at it like, it has to be this job. If I don't get this job, it's my dream job, it's not going to work. Most of the things that we learned today, we didn't learn from our dream jobs. We learned it from jobs that we were managing.
Yeah.
But all the lessons that we learned there, it afforded us the opportunity to land our dream jobs, and they are better jobs. So whatever you are learning or whatever you are doing now is a training ground and it's a process. So enjoy the process, okay? So that's pretty much the bonus we have for you for today.
All right, you're still tuned and listening to Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja, and it's been the workstation. But you know what they say, we learn to live in the moment, and every time here when we get to talk about career, talk about your workspace, talk about issues that need to be talked about, especially as regards our perseverance, just bringing the right resilience. Yes, there is a negative resilience and there is a positive resilience. So for me, I would always advocate for that positive resilience, because as much as you're trying to persevere, you should be doing it in the right way. Don't just be stuck, don't be stagnant, and it has to do with your mindset. And sometimes rejection or ghosting could come with impacting on your self-esteem. You feel like you are not good enough, but sometimes you might not be good enough, but you might be good enough for another
job.
And somehow, for the times that I applied for jobs that I wasn't gotten back to, I always went back to my CV, my resume, to look at it. I keep editing my CV. And someone said something one time that the resume you send to
one employer,
it cannot be the same.
Exactly.
So you should have different. You should have different categories. So if it's for communications, it should be different. Prioritize the skills that are there, bring them on top, and then if it's for another industry or sector, prioritize the skills that are relevant, bring them on top. It's very important. So I'm hoping that another day we'll have conversations around arranging the resumes, how you can get your dream job, or even get to be called back, so that you would avoid this ghosting. Because sometimes when people look at your CVs, they don't even know where to start from. You don't even have the strength. You say, I've applied for that job.
Yes,
now, but
I didn't get it.
You apply? How
very important. So
I
I might have another bonus tip to give you.
Go ahead.
When it comes to writing your cover letters, and like she rightly said, one cover letter cannot be used for every application. You have to tailor make your cover letters to suit the job that you're applying for at the moment. So one thing you can do, I know a lot of people say things like, ChatGPT is bad, anybody that uses ChatGPT is lazy, the person doesn't know how to write, yada yada yada, and all of these conversations. But there are ways to use these things, and there are ways to maximize it. Now, if you get a job offer, or if you see an application and you are looking to apply for this vacancy, or to fill up this position, what you want to do is copy all of the skills and the requirements of that job from the website of the organization, highlight it, copy it, and paste it on ChatGPT.
Okay.
When you paste it on ChatGPT, you go and develop a write-up about yourself and where you have worked in a couple of years. So before now, so you say, I am Martha, broadcast journalist, worked at Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja, handle so programs, and these programs did this, that. And then, beneath it will be the requirements of the job. After that, you can now say, write a professional cover letter to suit the role of a communications officer for this role. Trust me, you are going to get a mind-blowing cover letter. And guess what? It's not going to be the same with every other person. What every other person has written. Because again, you did a tailor-made search on the ChatGPT. It's a search engine. If you put a regular question, you get a regular answer, and you get what everybody else is getting. Yeah. But if you put a tailor-made question, you get a tailor-made answer to suit your desires as an applicant. So there are ways to go about these things. You can go and learn. It's on YouTube. You can maximize the opportunity of internet that you have, and just learn all of these things, so that when next you're applying for that job, you are more informed, and your information is a leverage. You are more prepared, or you're better prepared for the role. Your CV is better, your cover letter is better, and you just might stand a chance of gaining the attention of the employer.
All right, there you have it. This is what we do right here on Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. We serve a variety. So it's not just about the entertainment, it's also about the information and education. And these are the core things that we do not take for granted, because we know that information is power, information is security, and that is what we always do right here on the Media Extra Show. Well, thank you very much for always indulging us. You have been the most part of today right here as always, and we do not take you for granted. Yep. Well, this is where we get to draw the curtains on this segment, but not to worry, we'll make a return same time, same station, of course, right here on Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja with another bang. Permit me to use that. Well, it is what it is, and the next hour is where we get to talk about things that we have on our chest with the other ladies. So it's going to be a full house, but it's not going to be an echo chamber. We will talking to you, talking to ourselves, but of course the issues that matter, especially as regards the girlfriend show. So keep it locked right here on Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. And this one is Double Your Hustle by Orazi. Double your hustle to avoid ghosting.
All right.